Yo! Alright, I'm going to give a bit of a longer video on how we wet sand. So this looks nice and glossy. You can see reflection there. But we're going to start here with a nice acrylic block. It's 1/4 inch thick. It's pretty firm. So this is going to help us just cut the top off. So we're going to use 1500 and yeah, depending on the level of orange peel, you can use 1200, but or even 1000. But we start with 15, and yeah, that's what it looks like now. So you can start to see. Wipe a little bit of. So you can see there's long chop lines, but we're starting to get there. So we've knocked the top off. There's it's nice and level now, and yeah, it's looking good. But like what you can see from the 1500 and hand sanding with that firm block. So what I mean by that, you can see those lines, right? So yeah, like see here, like, and this is the inconsistency. So we'll use a little more. So now we're going to go to this soft block from 3M. And it's kind of firm, but it's still got some flex. Hang on 1 second here. There we go. So you can see it's still got some flex there. So we're going to use that with our 15 now. And we're just going to go over the top, and we're going to start to smooth out a lot of those coarse edges from that. So here we go now. We're blocking in lightning speed to get that done. And that's 15 with the soft block. So now we look at that. We're starting to see more of a uniform finish. And now when we look down the side of it, we can start to see a lot of that peel has gone. So we're doing good. Now we're going to move on to 2000. So we're going to take that same block and we're going to use 2000 now. Nope, 2000. There it is. Hello. Yeah, so now we're going to go over the 15 and we're going to use the same block with 2000. And this is going to help us get a nice, again, we're going to spend some time. We're going to make sure we get all of those 1500 sand scratches out. So once that's all done, we're going to remove that block, set that aside. And then what I like to do personally is go to, now this is like it's more of a squeegee than it is a block. But yeah, so we can see super duper flexible. So this one here, we're just going to go over those more rigid block with 2000 with this super flexible small squeegee block with 2000. And you can see here, like, I don't know if you can because we're going so fast, but I'm doing more of a circle pattern and going back and forth with a circle pattern. And then this is going to kind of help get some of those like longer strokes out, because right now I'm not worried about getting it super flat because it already is. So here I'm just more worried about the sand scratches and leveling them off. So when we're talking 2000, that's such a fine scratch that we're not really going to make it uneven by doing more of a circle or oscillating pattern, much like a machine sander. So yeah, so we're going to keep on charging through here with this 2000 and small block. And yeah, and you can see here too, I'm using a bucket with water. That's just my preference. I don't, a lot of people like to use a squirt bottle and keep squirting, but I like to just kind of dip and, back and forth. So once that's all done, now we're going to move into 3000 on a DA. So what you'll find here is sometimes until you get the sandpaper nice and wet, it might start to sheet and dry up the water. But yeah, now we're just going to, this is 3000 on a Trizac. And I have an interface pad on there too. So again, this is just for those 2000 sand scratches to get them out. So yeah, again, like squirt bottle definitely helps here on 3000. But Christian was actually blocking on the other side, so I was just throwing some water on. But yeah, now we're going to spend some time. And what happens here is you want to make sure you go over at least 6 to 7 passes over each time, so that you can make sure you get all of those 2000 sand scratches out. So a little extra time here sanding will save you so much extra time while you're polishing. And that's kind of, it seems like you want to get to the polishing quicker, but yeah, a little more time spent here will translate into time saved when you're polishing. So yeah, so I'm just, we blocked the quarter earlier, so now I'm just going to quick go over the quarter as well, so that that's all done with 3000. So yeah, so again, the more time that you spend sanding, and when you're moving through your grits between whether you start at 1000 or 1200 or 15, each time you want to make sure that you get the same amount of passes or swipes over top of that previous grit to make sure that you get those current grit sand scratches out. And then that translates into less time polishing with compound. So again, seems like you're you want to rush through the sanding to get the polishing, but then by doing that, you're just going to spend more time polishing. So yeah, and it's a little easier to sand, I find, than polishing anyway. So yeah, so we're just going to quick zip this quarter up here. And yeah, Christian's going to help me out. He's all done on the other side, so he's going to hose this down for me now. And look at him, just, yeah. See, lots and lots of water. And you'll notice too, even when I was using my bucket, I kept continuously dipping it in the bucket because you want to make sure that you're rinsing that sandpaper off, because you're still like, it's sand scratches, right? And there's fine particles. And if you get any type of buildup of dirt on your sandpaper, it will scratch it and cut a little deeper than what your actual grit of the sandpaper is. So we really want to avoid that. So yeah, so we're just finishing up with our 3000 here, and yeah, and you can see and notice too on the panel that it's still super wet. So the more water, the better. And I also like to use just a little bit of dish soap in there. So when I'm adding my hot water to start my sanding, I'll just add just a little drip of dish soap, and it helps kind of smooth it out and glide and kind of cut real nice. So yeah, so that's kind of the process. So right here we started with 1500 on a small acrylic block, and then once we got all of that top orange peel cut down, we moved to 1500 on a semi-rigid foam block, and then from there we moved to 2000 on that same semi-rigid foam block. And then once that was done, we moved to a really soft squeegee type block with 2000 in a circular motion. And then from there we moved over to 3000 on a machine sander with an interface pad and with lots of water to make sure that we get all of our sand scratches out. So, and we're spending time. So we're going over at least 7 to 8 times, or I guess between 6 and 8 times. So to make sure we get all of our sand scratches out. And then there's our finished product. So now we're nice and uniform. All of our sand scratches are gone. We can see when we look at this compared to our original acrylic block on the 1500, there's none of those big hard edges in.